And so here you are now, man. Like you said, you had to take some months off. You get back into it here. And shortly after you came back, then you were working these AEW Dark matches. Like that was very shortly after you had started wrestling again after the break during the pandemic, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if that was my first match back or maybe my second match back. I know I had maybe in September. I think it might have been September. I wrestled against Calvin Tankman at GCW or not GCW, VXS Wrestling. No, AEW Dark was before that because I remember I was so excited to be back on the independent wrestling show and just like really like go hard and do my thing. I remember I was excited to be back on that. So yeah, AEW Dark was my first wrestling match back after a global pandemic, which is kind of
Dude,
cool.
dude, that's that's very cool, but like that's a lot of pressure too, man. So like, how do you go from like not doing any shows to getting the call that like, hey, we're gonna bring you in to work with, the second hottest company in the United States right now?
Yeah, it felt right. Like I'm gonna say that a lot this interview. It felt right. It felt like I belonged there, and it felt like I was meant to be there. I'm not gonna say like I don't get nervous for wrestling or anything, because obviously that's natural. Like everyone's gonna get nervous. You get nervous because you care. But as far as pressure, in those types of situations, I don't feel a lot of pressure because I know in wrestling I am truly one of the best at this, as humbly as possible. I really believe I'm one of the best at this. So in those situations, I go into it knowing that I belong there and that I'm going to succeed.
Yeah.
And I know I put enough preparation in the gym and at the wrestling gym that I was not going to have much ring rust. I knew I was going to be able to go there and feel like I was when I was wrestling full time before the pandemic.
So who reached out to you? How did the appearances even come about?
It's just like any other booking, a promoter or like a one of the executives like reach out to you, and then you just basically say, yeah, I'm available for this date, and then you go in and do the tapings or whatever you got to do.
How is it for you kind of getting in that space and working with agents and like working for TV and stuff? I mean, I'm sure that's a big leap kind of from what you've been doing out on the indies and things like that.
It's great. It's definitely a different challenge than like working on indies when you just kind of go in and you kind of, I'm not gonna say do whatever you want, but it's a lot more free range and a lot more relaxed. And then when you go into a more I guess like corporate environment like a WWE or an AEW or even like an MLW and Evolve, something like that, I feel like it's a different challenge. You're trying to reach different goals. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna go as hard as I can this match. It's you have a different story to tell, which I think is a really cool challenge. And luckily, I was kind of prepared for that. I worked for when I first broke into the business, I started working for this company called Smash Wrestling,
Okay.
and they're a TV company. They were on the Fight Network every single week,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I kind of had
Yeah.
a little bit of experience working for a TV company.
Very cool. And here you were doing tag matches for AEW. You got paired up with Kevin Blackwood. Were you familiar? He's quite a colorful character. Were you guys used to working together? First time meeting? Like how did that teaming come about?
Yeah, Kevin is he trains at my school. He started training like a year before me. I hit the road with him like every week. He's one of my travel partners, one of my very good friends.
Yeah, and you guys got to have the Butcher of the Blade match was great, but I'm a big Joey Janela Sonny Kiss fan. Especially somebody who's working GCW and in that group there. What was it like for you to get to work with Joey, especially in like a space with AEW and Sonny too?
It was good. I really like Joey and Sonny. They're both very talented. They're a really good contrast of style to both me and Kevin. So I feel like it was a really good pairing, and we put on a very entertaining match.
Yeah, and what was the feedback? Did you get to hear anything from the agents, Tony Khan? Like, what's the vibe? Do you feel like you left a good impression when you were there?
I think I left a good impression. It was cool.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, then flash forward here, man. Like, as a child that like watched Goldberg sing, so you're familiar with the Monday Night War and all that, right? Here you are, what they call the Wednesday Night War, right? You're on AEW Dark, which isn't quite Dynamite, but man, you're doing AEW, and then just a couple months later, you wind up on WWE NXT. That's crazy, man. I can only think of a very small handful of people that have gotten to work both these companies here in this kind of period of time. How did this one come about? How do you go from doing AEW, you take a little time, and then you show up over in NXT?
You just grind it out, and hopefully somebody notices you, and then you get noticed, and then you impress, and then you get good opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And you worked with Tyler Rustin, one of my favorite voices in the entire business, Malcolm Bivens, man. Like, what you're on live TV. I mean, we're not. I mean, you talk about the pressure on AEW Dark, and you talk about how you like to step up to it. But what's it like for you to be in that moment there, in that ring with a guy who's breaking out like Tyler Rustin? You got Bivens on the outside yelling at you and knowing that everybody's watching you right there in that moment live on TV.
Yeah, Tyler Russ is very talented. He's a lot of people don't realize the experience that he has. He's wrestled all over the world and has years and years and years of high level experience. And he's extremely talented. And Malcolm, I was on the indies with him. I know him. And again, like it felt like I belonged there. It felt very low pressure. It felt like I was built for the moment, and I feel like I was fully ready for it.
And so when you're working in NXT, obviously, Triple H is in charge of everything. Was he giving you input? Was he helping you to work on the match at all in any way? Or was this just something where you were working with a separate kind of agent, anything like that?
No comment on that.
Okay, no problem. That's fine.